So this is the blender in its entirety. We have, it has 5 components. We have the blender bowl, we have the blade sub-assembly inside, this good.
Yeah, that's good right there.
We have the outer casing, which houses everything, and this comes apart. Which inside we have the motor and the circuit board with the buttons, and these 5, the bowl, the blade subassembly, the motor, the circuit board, and the casing, all are the 5 major components to the blender. Alright. So this is the circuit board and the buttons subassembly. Here we have the buttons that they protrude out of the shell and has a plate that corresponds and tells what each button is. You can press them down and they will then in turn press down a piece on this which will engage these 5 resistors as well as these 2 resistors and these capacitors. Now the capacitors, what they do is they control what each part of the circuit, they make current only run through certain parts of the circuit. There's 3 of them. You have these 2 smaller resistors. Those, what those do is those are the high and the low resistors. They have a certain level of resistance that once those are engaged and engaged with one of these 5 resistors of different resistances, they then, in combination, whether it's in series or in parallel, give an equivalent resistance that limits the amount of current that is flowed through the circuit here. After therefore, this is the motor subassembly. These 2 wires, the red and the white, are connected to the circuit board, and the current that we spoke of earlier is transmitted through these from the circuit board down into the current coils on either side. As it runs through these current coils, it can be either transmitted through an AC power source, which it's connected up through these, which connect internally to this metal cylinder, or this copper cylinder that rotates. After that, down inside there is copper wires that also have current running through them, causing this motor to get the spinning action. There is a large fan here, as well as a small fan inside that work to keep all of the parts cool as they run. These 2 brackets here as well as here keep everything housed within the motor, keep the motor housed within everything, and they connect to this, which cases everything as well. There is a shaft running through that spins this gearing wheel, and this is what transmits the power from the motor to the next assembly, which is the blade assembly. Okay. This is the motor as well as the blade assembly, and as we talked about earlier, as this rotates, it meshes with a wheel on the inside that is opposite that spins as well. So these connect and as they connect, it creates the spinning of the blades. Now the blade subassembly has two blades of identical parts, one that is on top, and as you can see the other is the same but just flipped over, and inside we have a bearing that keeps the blades at a certain height, as well as keeps the shaft, which is held together by this rivet, connected to everything down here. And this housing meshes well and keeps is nice and smooth and keeps food from sticking to it. And that is the blade subassembly. Alright, this is the bowl subassembly, which the blade subassembly is placed within this, and it has a washer ring that slides in over the top and creates a nice sealing action when the bowl is threaded on. And this is ready to blend, and it has a black cap that is easily placed over the top. And as you can tell, this cap has a hole in it which is filled by this plastic cap that slides in and locks into place, creating a nice sealed bowl. This is the housing subassembly, and the housing subassembly consists of an outer casing as well as a bottom that will house where the motor sits as well as the core. The motor fits up inside. This.
You can come in. We're going to put audio over this, so you're good.
Okay. We're just talking so that we get an idea for how long this is going to be. It all fits together.